Hello everybody, this is Paul McFarland here to talk about a book that I just finished and I did an intense long reading session, Activate Success, Dr. Sujata and Sandra Horton. What does this book mean to you? Why should you read it? Why should you keep it nearby? And what to do with the workbook? First, the book. I'm not going to talk about everything that is in this book. I'm going to talk about what I think is most important. It's two things. One, timeliness. We are still, most of us in the business world, in a post-pandemic mindset. What do we do with togetherness? What do we do with offices? What do we do with our real estate? How do we build culture? And if you ever have considered being a leader, or you're in a leadership position, this is why you should read this book. It's written in the perfect post-pandemic way, where it has a viewpoint that isn't just eternal, even though the truths are eternal, but it has a viewpoint that takes you to 2024 and 2025, let's put it that way, in a post-pandemic space. There's really good principles throughout the whole thing. It's easy to read. It has good stories and examples, but what I'm going to focus on again is why it's perfect for this time. And the second thing that I think is really important is the feelings, the emotional. Now, it doesn't take a genius to look at this world and see that we are in a time of an election in the United States. We're post-pandemic and all. We're in a situation where people are feeling more and more and more. People are feeling ideological about politics. They're feeling anxiety. They're feeling fear for the future. All of these negative emotions that are being swirled around and fed in social media. And again, if you are a leader, who are you leading? You are leading human beings who are in this world, who are a bundle of feelings and anxiety and all the different flavors of anxiety. So how do you lead, not just manage? How do you lead and feed and heal these issues to lead? And to lead where? So where you lead is up to you, as long as you have some basic human goodness about you, as the book talks about. But I think what's really important about this book, in this regard of feelings, it always leans into the emotion. Sandra's an NLP expert. Dr. Sujata is got a heart the size of a planet. They both do. The feelings, the emotion of what it means to lead, the feelings and emotions of the people you're leading and working with is so important to understand. And this book slowly, gradually, deeply, and affectionately leads you to that spot. Now I'll talk quickly about the workbook. A workbook, like as you imagine, is questions and empty spaces. Now, why do you want to do a workbook with this? Because in our day of typing everything and tapping everything on our devices, have we forgotten what it's like to handwrite? When we handwrite, we use our mind, our brain, our body, all the way to our fingers to do very nuanced, particular movements. That actually puts the intention into our bodies as well. We absolutely get it into our cellular memory. And when you write on a piece of paper, if you've ever looked at paper under a microscope or a magnifying glass, it is fibers of wood and pulp. And when you have that hard ball that's rolling at the very end of it and distributing the ink, you're actually crushing the fibers and pushing the ink into it. It is like engraving. This literally is like carving in stones, carving in paper. The act of handwriting and doing that puts so much more intention and emotional cellular memory into the work you're doing. So you write it, it's yours. It's really important. These are simple questions, but they are deep and they require great thoughtfulness. And if you write an answer and you go on a little bit further, you go back and reread it. There's space to change it, to amplify it, to say, oh, I thought this is what I thought now, and I go a couple chapters more, oh, I'm going to go back and redo my foundational thoughts. Perfectly good. This isn't for them. This is for you to reflect on, for you to see, what have I carved into paper? What do I believe so much that I put my body, my fingers, and my heart and soul into it? So this is the fruition for you, but this is where it begins, the book. Again, see? Lots of spacing and subheads and things and chapters. Easy to read, but again, it's a build-up process. Going from the principles of leadership at any time, the post-pandemic principles that we should all respect, and what I'm really focused on, the feelings that you have that are universal to your workers, the feelings your co-workers, partners, vendors, for that matter, your family, your friends, your husband, wife, your lovers, whatever, can do the same principles. Understanding the emotion and how you transmit your highest, best, most beneficial emotions via leadership to the people. An emotional loop. Make sure you get this. This may take you, like me, a couple days to power through and read, or it may take you several months. It doesn't matter. Whatever change you make, however small of an activation of your leadership abilities happens, it is still better than zero. I'll say that again. Even small, incremental, positive change is better than none. So read the book and then carve it into the paper and get your whole body involved in actual handwriting. Just don't grip the pen too tightly so your hand doesn't get fatigued, but really think and then change it from a thought to something you put into the world on paper, just like you read and think and put it into action into the minds and hearts of the people you serve. Oh, you serve as a leader. Get the book, get the workbook, become the leader you were born to be. Thank you, Dr. Sujata, and thank you, Sandra, for this amazing, amazing book and workbook.